So imagine you're one of the wealthiest tycoons in, like, 1860s America.
Right, you're dressed to the nines in this full, bespoke Victorian finery.
Exactly. But you're standing in a choking cloud of dirt, watching jockeys literally tie million-dollar horses to pine trees.
It's just such a wild, chaotic image.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today our mission is to explore the grit, the magic, and, well, the absolute unpredictability of Saratoga Springs.
And specifically the legendary Saratoga racecourse up in the Adirondack region.
Yeah. And to guide this exploration, we're pulling from a really fascinating regional history project. It's called Echoes of the Alpine.
Specifically, we're looking at their script titled Episode 5, The Sport of Kings, which is just great because it digs into the unfiltered legacy of this landmark.
It totally strips away the modern mythology.
Yeah.
Because, when people hear the Sport of Kings applied to Saratoga, which is America's oldest continuously operating thoroughbred racetrack, by the way, over 160 years old.
Right, people immediately default to a very specific image.
Yeah, you picture massive hats, seersucker suits, mint juleps in silver cups.
This atmosphere of absolute refined control.
Exactly. You assume it's this environment engineered so that wealth and status just kind of insulate you from the chaos.
But that polished perception hides a foundation that is, honestly, entirely born of chaos.
Oh, completely.
I mean, if we look at the actual timeline, the story of the Saratoga racecourse begins in August of 1863.
Which is, wait, that's right, in the absolute bloodiest stretch of the American Civil War.
It is. The timing is staggering when you really contextualize it.
Yeah, the summer of 1863. I mean, Gettysburg had just concluded weeks earlier, right?
Exactly. And the brutal draft riots were literally tearing apart New York City.
Which is essentially just a train ride down the Hudson River from Saratoga.
Right. The nation is fracturing. It's a moment of profound national trauma. And yet, right in the epicenter of that darkness, this massive luxury sporting venue is launched.
That just feels completely dissonant to me. Like, why launch a sprawling festival of wealth and gambling while the country is literally at war with itself?
Well, it points to a deep, somewhat desperate psychological necessity.
Really? How so?
In periods of extreme trauma and uncertainty, society doesn't just shut down its desire for spectacle. It actually amplifies it.
Oh, interesting. Like they need a distraction.
Exactly. People crave a gathering place. They need something that feels vital and alive, something larger than life.
So launching Saratoga wasn't just like a cynical business venture.
No, it provided an escape valve. It underscores this fundamental human desire for community and thrill, especially when the broader world feels like it's collapsing.
Wow. And, the guy who provided that escape valve is just as surprising as the timing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you think of the architect behind America's most prestigious thoroughbred track,
Yeah.
your mind goes to, like, old money aristocrats. A Vanderbilt or an Astor.
Right. But the driving force here is John Morrissey.
John Morrissey, who is basically a gritty, fast-talking character straight out of a gangster film.
He really is. He represents the exact opposite of the pedigree that Saratoga celebrates today.
Right. He was a bare-knuckle boxer, wasn't he?
He was a bare-knuckle boxer. He ran gambling houses, and he was deeply embedded in the rough-and-tumble street politics of the era.
He's running numbers in smoky back rooms, operating on the absolute fringes of polite society.
Exactly.
So how does a guy like that summon the global elite to upstate New York to watch horses run in a circle?
Well, he was a brilliant observer of human behavior. Morrissey recognized a unique geographic advantage.
Because of the springs, right?
Yes. The wealthy elite were already making the trek to Saratoga Springs for the natural mineral waters. They believed the springs had these restorative medicinal properties.
Right, so he's looking at this captive audience of bored, wealthy tourists.
Exactly. And he realized they needed a place to spend their money and experience a thrill. So he and a few well-connected associates organized this brief 4-day racing meet.
On what they call the Oklahoma track.
Right, and it was basically just a makeshift dirt path.
I mean, let's strip away all the luxury boxes and manicured lawns of modern Saratoga for a second. Looking at the historical accounts, the reality of that first track was shockingly bare bones.
Oh, it was entirely rustic. We're talking about a literal clearing in the woods.
No grandstand providing shade, no paved walkways.
Nothing. But the detail that completely breaks my brain is the paddock situation.
Oh, right, the trees.
Yes. Between races, the jockeys didn't take these priceless, highly bred animals into climate-controlled stables. They literally tied them to trees in the surrounding woods.
That is wild.
Yeah.
It was just this unfiltered, visceral experience.
Completely. You had the tycoon-class politicians, socialites corseted in heavy silk and wool, standing in a raw field,
Getting covered in the choking dust kicked up by the horses.
and feeling the physical thunder of the hooves shaking the dirt beneath their boots.
They were basically trading the rigid, sterile parlors of Manhattan for a pure adrenaline rush. But, here is the fascinating pivot.
Yeah.
Saratoga started as this gritty, dusty escape. And, it eventually built the grandstands and attracted the high society glamour.
Right.
Yet it never lost that raw, chaotic DNA. Because what cemented Saratoga's status as a global legend wasn't the wealth of the crowd.
No, it was the track's terrifying habit of destroying the careers of the greatest, most invincible animals on Earth.
Over the decades, Saratoga earned this chilling, permanent moniker.
The graveyard of champions.
Okay, wait, I need to pause and challenge the mechanics of this. Why is this specific patch of dirt in upstate New York a graveyard?
The great question.
Like, is the soil composition sandier and heavier so it tires out the horses?
Yeah.
Are they drinking the mineral water and getting sluggish?
Right. People always wonder if it's environmental.
Or is it just a statistical inevitability because so many good horses race there?
Well, there's a tendency in racing circles to romanticize it, to say the track is simply respectful of the sport and acts as a thematic equalizer.
But respectful sounds like a polite way of romanticizing bad luck. An animal doesn't lose a sprint because the dirt is feeling philosophical.
No, of course not.
There has to be a physical or psychological toll at play, right?
You're absolutely right to demand the mechanism. And when we analyze the broader context of the racing calendar, the reasons become incredibly clear.
Okay, lay it on me.
First, consider the timing. The Saratoga meet happens in late summer, usually July and August.
Oh, and the heat up there.
The heat and humidity in the Adirondacks, it can be absolutely oppressive.
So the environment itself is a pressure cooker.
Exactly. Now, combine that environmental stress with the physical reality of the horses. The greatest champions arrive at Saratoga after completing the Triple Crown Trail in the spring.
Right. And for those who don't follow the sport religiously, the Triple Crown means a young horse has just run the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes back to back to back.
Over a grueling 5-week period. It is the ultimate test of equine endurance.
So if a horse survives that gauntlet and actually wins the Triple Crown, they are mathematically and historically considered a super horse.
Yes, but physically they are fatigued. They have been traveling, training at peak heart rates, and carrying the immense pressure of the crowds for months.
And then they arrive at Saratoga,
where they are met by a massive field of challengers who skip the Triple Crown entirely.
So these are rested horses.
Highly trained, locally adapted horses who've been waiting in the wings specifically to ambush a tired champion.
It's like walking into a casino where the house has a massive statistical edge.
That's a perfect analogy.
No matter how hot a streak the champion is on, the sheer volume of rested, hungry underdogs at Saratoga acts like the house advantage, and eventually that edge breaks the streak.
And the historical record bears this out brutally. We are not just talking about good horses having an off day. We're talking about legendary, historically significant animals.
Like Gallant Fox.
Yes. Gallant Fox is a prime example. In 1930, he won the Triple Crown and really captured the imagination of a country that was just plunging into the Great Depression.
Right. He was thought to be this invincible beacon of hope.
But he came to Saratoga for the Travers Stakes, and he was beaten by a 100-to-1 long shot.
Named Jim Dandy, right.
Exactly. But the ultimate upset, the one that permanently etched the graveyard reputation into stone, happened in 1973.
Oh, man. And honestly, the details of this one read like a dark comedy. We have to talk about Secretariat.
We do. Secretariat in 1973 was more than an athlete. He was a cultural phenomenon.
He didn't just win the Triple Crown. He shattered the records.
Completely.
I mean, his performance at the Belmont Stakes that year is still hard to comprehend. He won by 31 lengths.
Which is unheard of.
He was actually accelerating and running faster every single quarter mile of the race. It was a terrifying display of biomechanical perfection.
He was on the cover of Time, Newsweek, and Sports Illustrated in the same week. He was basically the most famous celebrity on the planet.
He achieved literal immortality.
Right. So just weeks after that Belmont victory, his team brings him to Saratoga to race in the Whitney Stakes.
Which is an invitational race where Older, experienced horses run against younger ones. It's a massive prestige event.
And the public expectation was a coronation. People packed the grandstands just to breathe the same air as Secretariat.
It was supposed to be a victory lap.
And instead, the absolute peak of athletic perfection, a literal titan of the American sporting landscape, loses.
And he doesn't lose to his greatest historic rival. He loses to a horse named Onion.
A horse named Onion, trained by Alan Jerkins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a man who built a career on specifically targeting vulnerable champions.
You literally cannot write a more humbling punchline. The sheer shock of that moment, Secretariat crossing the wire second to a horse named Onion.
It perfectly encapsulates the terrifying magic of Saratoga.
It really proves that money, pedigree, and even historical greatness cannot buy certainty. The dirt doesn't care who you are.
It's a profound reminder of vulnerability. And that unpredictability, the ghosts of Gallant Fox and Secretariat hanging in the afternoon dust, is what makes the daytime experience at Saratoga so electric.
But the regional history explored in the echoes of the Alpine project reveals a fascinating evolution, too.
Yeah, because Saratoga has developed this cultural duality that entirely shifts the atmosphere once the sun goes down.
That shift is one of the most unique aspects of the region. I mean, you have the grit, the sweat, the tearing up of losing betting tickets during the day. It's loud and visceral.
But right nearby the track is SPAC.
The Saratoga Performing Arts Center.
Exactly. And SPAC introduces an entirely different dimension to the local culture. Built in the 1960s, it serves as a massive amphitheater nestled right in the state park.
Surrounded by those same towering pines.
Yes. And it was designed to bring world-class high art into the Adirondacks. We are talking about hosting the New York City Ballet, major contemporary concerts.
And it's serving as the summer home for the Philadelphia Orchestra, right? It creates this ultimate highbrow double feature for anyone visiting. Just think about the sensory shift of that itinerary.
It's quite the contrast.
You spend the afternoon trackside, the air smells like cigar smoke, hot dirt, and manure. You're screaming your lungs out as a massive pack of thoroughbreds thunders down the final stretch.
Raw, animalistic chaos.
Exactly. Then, a few hours later, you shower off the dust, you change into evening wear, and you sit on a manicured lawn beneath the stars.
Feeling the crisp mountain air.
Yes, listening to the Philadelphia Orchestra play Beethoven.
It is a masterpiece of cultural balance. The visceral, unpredictable thrill of the afternoon perfectly counterweights the soaring, intellectual precision of the symphony at night.
It creates a rhythm to the summer that is completely unique to Saratoga Springs.
And what's really striking about the source material we are diving into is how it treats this history.
Yeah, the creators of the Echoes of the Alpine show. They don't just treat Saratoga as a static Wikipedia entry or a tourist trap.
No, they treat it as a living, breathing community archive.
That is such a vital distinction.
It really is. On their website, thealpinehomestead.com, they actively use their platform to crowdsource local history.
Which I love.
They're asking their listeners to email their family racing memories, track stories, and local Adirondack tales directly to them.
At thealpinehomestead@gmail.com.
Right, exactly. They even solicit local artists to submit original music for this series, ensuring proper credit and permission, of course.
You know, in an era where sports history is so deeply corporate and, packaged by massive television networks, a regional project collecting emails might seem small.
Right.
Why is that grassroots archiving so important to the broader story of the track?
Because it reclaims the narrative for the people who actually live it. It proves that the magic of Saratoga isn't just about Vanderbilt fortunes or Triple Crown statistics.
It's personal.
Exactly. It's about a grandfather taking his granddaughter to the rail for the first time. It's about the local diner owners who have fed the jockeys for 3 generations.
So by actively collecting these personal, granular memories, the project shows that Saratoga is an inheritance of culture.
The community investment is the connective tissue?
Precisely. It bridges the 160-year gap between John Morrissey's dusty makeshift Oklahoma track and the polished grandstands of today.
The people passing down these stories are the ones keeping the ghosts alive.
It blends high sport, deep history, natural beauty, and art in a way that is profoundly rooted in community.
That really brings the whole picture into focus.
It does. I mean, stand by the rail on a breezy August afternoon, feel the heavy vibration in the dirt before you even see the horses coming around the turn.
You're the crack of the starting bell.
And in that fraction of a second, the clothes are different, the architecture's changed, but the core human anticipation is identical to what those crowds felt standing in the woods back in 1863.
Time just collapses.
It really does.
The continuity is palpable.
Mm-hmm.
But as we synthesize all of this, I want to leave you with a deeper psychological question that builds on the concept of the graveyard of champions.
Ooh, okay, let's hear it.
We explored the physical reasons why champions lose here. The heat, the fatigue of the Triple Crown, the rested challengers. But consider the human element of that equation today.
You mean the trainers and the jockeys?
Exactly. Think about the modern trainer who brings a heavily favored, undefeated champion to Saratoga.
Right.
They know the history. They know the dirt they are walking on claimed Gallant Fox. They know it humbled Secretariat.
Oh, wow. That is a heavy burden to carry into the paddock.
Does the sheer, terrifying weight of that reputation create a self-fulfilling prophecy of anxiety?
Oh, that's fascinating.
In a sport where a fraction of an inch or a slight pull in the reins dictates the outcome, are trainers second-guessing their strategies because they're in the graveyard?
Are jockeys holding their horses back just a millisecond too long out of fear?
It raises an incredible sports psychology question. Does the legend of the track actually generate the nervous energy that causes the upsets?
Does our belief in the chaos actually manifest the chaos?
Yeah.
That entirely flips the idea of the track on its head. It isn't just the dirt or the underdogs taking down the champions. It's the weight of the ghosts getting inside the heads of the humans steering them.
It's a haunting thought.
It really is. And it brings us right back to the core truth of Saratoga. No amount of money, preparation, or pedigree can insulate you from the unpredictable magic of the track. Keep digging into that history, keep questioning the legends, and keep joining us for these deep dives.